Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Disco Elysium, where last time we took on the quest to find the drug dealer amongst the lorry drivers, and we failed. We don't know who it is. The only lead we have is that it's the lady, but unfortunately the only lady we know of was that old woman over there who... She doesn't think she's a drug dealer, but she doesn't actually know what she's been driving into the place. So she did throw some suspicion on this guy, though.
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
And he's our buddy, right? So maybe we can talk to him and he'll tell us what's going on. I heard that one of the drivers is a woman, but I don't think she's here. Do you know who this lady driver is?
I don't want to talk about that.
He shifts around, suddenly uncomfortable, then looks away. Why? Do you know something? What is it? I don't mean to pry, but I need your help. She may be involved with some drug business. Okay, let's change the subject. I need your help.
Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is.
I asked you who's conducting the drug trade. You said you didn't know. Now you're saying you do. Who is this person? What's her name? Who is she to you? What does she look like? Who is she to you?
A friend? An acquaintance? I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay?
Okay. What does she look like?
A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way.
What color hair?
Blue and violet. Dyed. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went.
What's her name?
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why.
Earlier you said you didn't know who the drug dealer was.
I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it.
Okay. When did she leave?
Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person. I know that much.
We can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience.
It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only.
I don't believe you.
You said she's troubled. How?
She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her.
I was told everyone's afraid of her. You're not?
I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me too. That she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her.
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind.
Her mind?
The way it worked. The trouble it was giving her.
The pain it was causing her.
When she left, did she leave her lorry behind?
Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out.
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. Push Tommy and it will break his heart. And his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son. It's right here. The answer is right here. You just need to ask him. Come on, do it.
Put yourself in my shoes. I need this for another investigation too. It's important. I can't blow it. I'll drop the matter for now.
Thank you, friend. Wow, this makes me feel like I should pick up smoking again. Would help with my rhymes too.
I've changed my mind about your friend. Tell me. No. Hopefully we can find another... We can shake down the racist dude up here. Because I like that guy. He's a good dude. At least he seems like one.
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
I know you've been giving me the runaround. Fess up. Where's the lady driver?
I don't know what you're talking about.
First, you knew Sealing didn't do it.
He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another lorryman's job. You should be thankful for the tip.
He grins, a wide smile.
He's been expecting this. He's really puffed himself up.
Then why are you smirking?
Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Revachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run anything.
So who does? The lady driver?
No. He means La Puta Madre.
The name resounds like a bell in the air. A dark gong. You get a bad feeling about it. Looks like the lieutenant has a plan. Let him do this.
Yeah, him.
Cross your arms and nod.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peonies.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all over the unions.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peonies who'd do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts.
Say nothing.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were.
No, of course not. We are not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peony's job to find out who that is. It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way, protecting this fucking thief.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorrymen and Carters Guild.
You've seen that corpse in the ceramic armor there. Did his shitty little guild protect him?
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
He tries to light a fresh cigarette, but his hands are shaky now. The sentence simply ends.
The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible nod. I softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to finish the job. Be careful. This man's still got some fight in him by the looks of it. It won't be easy to break him.
58% chance. Come on. Don't let Kim down.
The
No!
main thing is to not overdo it, even when you're trying to scare someone. The most important thing is, how does it look on your resume?
Why am I such a fuck up? No. Look, I'm sorry. Can you just tell me what you know? Why don't you and me step outside for a little talk? We're already outside, buddy. The jig's up. I've got the goods on you. Let's talk. Uh-oh. This has happened before and bad things happened.
Despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. Whatever noble intentions you once had as a police officer, it's eating them all up now.
Seriously running out of shits to give, Kim. Fuck you. I've wasted my life protecting humans. They don't deserve it. I'm done. No one even likes cops. That show is fucking dead. Fuck you. Fuck you. Goddamn. I've wasted my life protecting humans. They don't deserve it.
I don't dispute that you have been charged with protecting the people of a particularly challenging district. But poverty does not make one a loser. Poverty is just poverty.
Nothing you can say would make you feel any better now. Cop gives up the detective genre for social realism. Another police officer resigned from the RCM following a nervous breakdown. He now lives under a bridge, drinking and occasionally throwing excrement at passers-by, shouting, "I never loved that woman." When asked to comment, former colleagues objected to the theory that his psychological disintegration was precipitated by his wife leaving him. "It's because the Furrows lost that match," said Captain Ptolemy Price, once the man's superior officer. "It's because he couldn't get a big gun from acquisitions, and anyway, police work really burns you out after a while," Satellite Officer Jean-Vic Mayer, the deranged former cop's partner, commented. Sergeant Matt Torson, another former colleague, did not propose any theories, merely saying, Whatever happened to him wasn't about birds. He got fucked, that's all.
And that's the end of Disco Elysium, guys. I hope you enjoyed the series, and I guess I'll catch you in the next game. Alright, so that's what happens if you're... Okay. I suppose on the bright side, we get to make that check again. So, you know. Yay. Did we already
Still
talk to
here.
you?
Stuck in this damn jam. I
Okay,
don't
we
wanna
gotta go
talk
through
about
this
that.
again.
Man, I was hoping it isn't gonna be her.
Who is she to
A
you?
friend.
What she
A
look
youngish
like?
woman,
What color?
blue and violet. Thank God I didn't, man. Damn, I don't want.
We can.
That's how it always.
It won't come.
I don't believe you.
Troubled
She's got
how?
She
Yes, which is why I don't want to snitch on her.
You're not
I
afraid?
heard the rumor.
did this.
Well, it looks like it did now.
Her
The way
mind?
it worked.
The pain it was causing her.
Is there Lori here?
Fuck, man.
He's right. Push Tommy. Now isn't it's right here. The answer is
Drop the matter.
Thank you, friend.
That's all? Okay, let's do this again. Keep in mind our morale is very low. Let's save it.
Looking for something odd? I don't know what you're talking about.
You knew?
Headed.
he's been expecting.
Why are you
this.
smirking?
Listen up, fuckwits. You don't
The
scare
lady
me.
driver?
The name looks like
Cross your arms and nod.
Yeah.
Not just the unions.
Say
You're
nothing.
not.
No, it's not.
I'm not.
You've seen.
Nah.
the lieutenant. I softened him up. Be careful. This man's still got some fight in him.
Here we go.
by the looks of it.
Make him tell you what he knows.
Easy to break him. The main thing is to not overdo it. Even when you're trying to scare someone. The most important thing is, how does it
The jig's up.
Oh yeah. And what goods are those?
You know, your goods.
There's some kind of homo thing?
No. No, of course not. Just tell me what you know. Just tell me what you know. Oh,
despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. Whatever noble intentions you
I wish I was dead.
he watches you melt down stoically from behind the lenses of his glasses.
Kim, help me.
Nothing you can say would make you feel. Cop gives up the detective genre for
Okay, well. This is kind of weird. I feel like I either need to not do this part right now until we get our morale back up, or I just need to keep going until we succeed at this.
Looking for something odd? I don't know what you're talking. Headed.
He's
So-
been expecting this.
I want to
Listen up,
see
fuckwits. You don't.
No.
The name looks like
if the role is kind of baked in already, or if it's, or if I could save scum it potentially.
Then I.
Yeah.
Not just the union.
You.
No, it's
Oh.
you.
Nah.
the loot. I suffered. Be careful.
So we rolled a
This man's
3.
Still got some fight in him.
before.
It looks- Men like
No.
this
Okay.
only respect 2 things: strength and fear.
Well, there we go.
Time to turn up the volume.
Show me her lorry right fucking now. The lady driver's lorry. Where is it?
Fuck you. I told you. I'm not gonna.
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
I'm gonna fuck you for the rest of my life. You understand? Jesus. I've been to your fucking lorry. I know where it is. Point to it. I'm gonna burn it down. You hear me? What's your name, fuckhead? I'm gonna go on police radio saying this guy told Madre to fuck off. Yeah, I've been to your fucking lorry. I know where it is. I'm gonna burn it down. You hear me?
Look. Fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days.
Now it's not a big deal for him anymore. This is how he saves face.
Where exactly is her lorry?
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now, leave me the fuck alone, okay?
A small temple by the monument. Green. Let's get into that lorry.
Right, I'm going. Kim is awesome. I love Kim. Might be one of my favorite characters by the end of this series. He's so cool. Alright, so it's past the monument. So down here, right? I think I remember seeing a green lorry. Yeah. Right here.
This screen found A to Z, Contemporain, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
This must be the one he told us about. Unless he was lying.
The lieutenant peeks inside. How are we gonna get? Try the door handle.
The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. There's no pick in this lock. The owner has put special care into it. It's a recessed design.
Try to peek in the window.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and 2 steering levers.
Can I smoke right now? Let's have a smoke. We need one. After all that morale failure. How are you going to get this open, Kim?
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside.
Really?
This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
Okay. Okay, I need to equip the tool. I was like 3% chance. Jesus, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, just equip that.
This screen found
There we go.
A to Z, Contemporary. With a firm grip, you raise the pry bar. A glint of light catching on the tip. Call down the hammer of truth and justice. Release your secrets, lorry cabin.
I'm sorry. Smash it apologetically.
The window shatters, and droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and pavement.
Subtle.
Says the lieutenant and sticks his hand in the window like a common car thief and then opens it.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be.
Admire the posters.
These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of amberette, wafting through the bitter air of the cabin.
Stop and wonder, what's that smell?
The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume, probably Grenade No. 5.
I know my perfumes. Study the centerfold.
The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly.
Enough of the posters.
The actresses and the rare actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat.
Examine the radio.
Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
The lieutenant leans closer to the radio and hums.
It has to be an advanced model to fit so many frequencies next to each other without blending them together.
What about the Speed Freaks FM? Is it one of the saved stations here?
No, that's on 78.9.
Raise your eyebrows.
What? I happen to have committed the frequency to memory. I have no problem admitting that.
Why would anyone need so many radio stations?
For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite a range too.
A 20-kilometer radius at least. Perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now.
Is there anything we can do with the radio?
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key.
What else is here?
The ghostly actresses and the rusty toolbox under the driver's seat and the oddly bulging seat cover.
Check the pedals.
You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Looks like the driver has glued a piece of sandpaper to the throttle to offer some extra grip.
Sandpaper? A novel technique?
The lieutenant repeats. Back up into the cabin again.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. But there's something strange about the passenger seat. The radio transmitter sits on the center console, and the pull-out toolbox lies hidden under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals.
Pull out the toolbox.
A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper.
Unfold the newspaper.
It's an issue of Petit Ferique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages.
Pick up the note.
It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
His thoughts trail off. Push in the pull-out toolbox.
The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Posters, a radio, dust on the windows.
Peel off the cover on the passenger seat.
Voila! A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen.
Bonne prise.
The lieutenant commends you as you shift through the treasure, well worn and folded into neat squares. Fold open the topmost map.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881. High above the mass of brown and red roofs, that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield.
Where does the road lead?
To Couron, through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road.
Fold open the second map.
This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pox, Old Military Hospital, right adjacent to the 41st Precinct. No storm will ever drown Revachol. The great solution to the riddle of history. Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital, now just a ruin under an overgrown park. Beneath the hospital, great sewer tunnels hum and vibrate with life of their own.
What does that sound?
The rattle of motor carriages and lorries driving through long-forgotten tunnels, lit by gaslights.
Look at the third map.
The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of Motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen, where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain, and a traffic island in central Jamrock, by the lake. These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation beneath the motorway.
What does all this mean?
It means that the smugglers are secretly using the motorway to transport their goods and materials. They've infiltrated East Motor Tract, most likely. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them.
Where does the contraband end up?
Hard to say. This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti behind it.
Besmerti?
The Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol. With cool names like La Puta Madre and Aura Mazda. It's a dark parody.
Aura Mazda. I know that name. Who do you think is behind this?
It's definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved.
The lieutenant removes his glasses and polishes them with a handkerchief.
Especially bad news for cops who may have something in their past they don't even know is there.
Return the stack of papers under the seat.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick these up later.
The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars look silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle, worn from years of use.
Close the door.
You close the rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce?
He steps away from the lorry. Sure, what's up, Kim?
Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Seems like something police would do. What do you think of all this, Kim?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. I'm not sure what the ULAN frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station, a worrying prospect.
Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info.
What about the movie posters? How do they factor into all this?
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
A lot of women up there, especially for a lady driver's cabin. Maybe the trader's some sort of cinephile? Could the film industry be involved? Maybe the trader is some sort of cinephile.
Yes, well...
He doesn't say more.
Unimportant.
What about the movie... no, alright. How do you think this is connected to the Union?
We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Evrard Claire would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose. My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road.
In short, this is a future angle. Possibly a good one.
Will the RCM open an investigation into this?
We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that.
He stops to think. What are you thinking?
The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madre grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome.
Corruption?
All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Okay. Debrief over?
Debrief over. After you.
Alright, let's go talk to Joyce before we hit the hay, as they say. Another good day of detective work, and hopefully we don't lose any morale while we sleep, because that would not be good. I've thought about maybe going and buying some magnesium from the store, but we don't have a lot of money. And we gotta pay for a room tomorrow night too, so I don't think that's the best idea at the moment. We'll just have to hope we don't lose any more morale.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
She pats her wet raincoat.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
You know, I think I'd still take an umbrella even if it had a raincoat. Like, sure, the raincoat is nice, but the umbrella keeps the water further away from you than a raincoat does. I could use a coat like that. The rain is freezing.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically.
Oh, never mind.
The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy.
I would love one of those.
What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
Alright, I spoke with the lorryman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Big experience gain there. Another level. Wait. Where exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
I should decide. If my inner conscience is telling me that, then I'm gonna follow it.
Exactly. But what?
There will be an investigation, that's all I can say. You sent us on a wild goose chase, there's nothing to investigate. We turned up quite a few interesting things, actually. Share information. No, there will be an investigation, that's all I can say.
Okay. I thank you for sharing that much with me. My employer thanks you as well.
She exhales, as though a weight has been lifted from her shoulders.
In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
No pressure.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
Iron and strawberries. What was that about a bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
Tell me again. How are the lynching and the strike connected?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
A momentary lapse of faith?
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
We didn't find a weapon.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him.
Right, we heard about that when talking to Titus.
He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, Executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
This sounds really bad.
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Ah,
It'll be all of them. The decision is already made.
I have to say, this is not disco. You made a mess here. Maybe the investigations can team up, you know, share resources and intelligence. Boy, oh boy, is that not good. I have to say, this is not disco.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
She grabs hold of the mainsail.
if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Debarders have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
I never have, actually. I don't know. Does the Hornet actually take out all the bees? It's kind of crazy.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
As I said, a bloodbath.
I can't see it happen. Too many things would have to go wrong first. Isn't that a pretty bleak scenario you're describing? I think the confrontation is inevitable. Isn't that a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia.
Okay.
All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
What can you tell me about Crenell?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Third and fourth world countries.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay. Anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources.
She thinks.
If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
She thinks.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, man?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Could you contact the company? Tell them to call them off?
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman?
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Who did the passing on then?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Kim, your note-taking skills have faltered. We did hear about that.
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Who is this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You meet her soon enough, you feel.
This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
His name?
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the others first.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased?
The lieutenant cuts in.
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
There's a pang of regret to her voice.
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. And that's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining two mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Vigilantes. The RCM gets its authority from the coalition. Where does theirs come from? We still need to know where they are. We'll confront them directly. Okay, we'll steer clear from them. Yeah, we still need to know where they're at.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Where are these mercenaries?
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
Really?
The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbor gates. The scab leader.
That may be so.
She's...
I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is
The lights
a
came on.
keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
And then one is probably in a building overlooking the roundabout.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a short wave at the ship's wheel.
So it's toward the sloop's cabin. I had other questions for you.
I hope I can answer it better.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
There's a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
It's enough for now.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, Please ask.
Can you tell me about these tattoos now?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
She reaches over the guard wire and takes the photo, holds it in her hand.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Stay quiet. Observe the woman's expression.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
What do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars.
She points to one on the photo paper.
I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Like stars in the sky?
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
What is the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
What travels did the dead man make?
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
She points to it on the photo.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semnes Islands, then this.
She points to his heart. What is that?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Who could tell me more?
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Challenge accepted. I say we do it.
I need the information. Mark it down. Ask the marks about tattoos.
Do what you have to do, Detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
I've got some more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
She's positively surprised. What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
She puts her finger to her lips, then points at you. Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
You've got a predatory streak.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth.
I don't know what you're talking about, lady. I'm gonna be honest. What's the big time?
The revolution.
Ah. Ha. And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution.
My God.
But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
Ah.
Oh, and the anarchists too.
Ah.
They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Interesting that I've made a character who's a communist, though. Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Okay. That's a lot of people, but nowhere near as many as 40 people. 40 million people. 40 people. That truly a kerfuffle. It's a tragedy. Sounds like they should have shot more people in the head then. That's a tragedy.
Yes. The Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it.
Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
I loved that king. Fucking communists. I don't care about kings. Tell me one more thing. Smart king.
Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
She looks up at the sky, then inland at the crumbling city. How did the liberals win it all? Okay, and by liberals you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
You just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground.
Ah,
The ocean, the laws, and the people.
who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
I don't think I'm a moralist, ma'am. Not just technically, practically as well. I like what I've heard about these people. If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes, I am. And also not. I don't think I'm a moralist, ma'am.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
Rooty tooty, pointy shooty.
Cock your finger pistols. Rudy tooty pointy shooty. Okay.
That's the way of history.
She nods. When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Zarath do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Oh, really?
Of course not.
Oh.
It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
She spreads her arms, raincoat flapping in the wind.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
Our lives are very different from each other.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The Zone of Control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the Suzerain and the Commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
It's been like this for how long exactly?
43 years. Hard to fathom, I know.
What have you been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to 19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
She curtsies.
Welcome to reality, baby.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
I asked you. Who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past less detective of the citizens' militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing.
I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Zarath drove people mad. I would have killed more. 400 million, if that's what it took. I would have made off with the minerals rights. I don't know what I would have done differently. Wouldn't have done that. That's a pipe dream. And, I don't know. Maybe this one? I don't know what I would have done differently.
And you would have died, most likely. Not far from here. Maybe even right here, during the beachhead, defending the coast the day the Coalition took the city.
The cold runs down your spine. She gestures toward the waters.
Probably.
The wind stops. There is silence on the dark water of the Martinez Inlet. A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building.
No, almost certainly. The Commune would have forced you. Such was the fate of the undecided.
That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
That's all for now. We'll come back and talk to her.
Persistence. The little that I know. Anything else?
That's it. That's all for now. Let's go ahead and I think we got 2 levels out of that, which is nice. Don't know if we got any items. Quest updates. Ask Scab leader about tattoos. The victim's tattoos. Okay. Got some things on the map here. Don't worry about that. Let's get another thought. Yeah. So we have another thought. I was thinking about getting rid of this one, but we're gonna keep it for the +4 experience. I don't know if we've gotten any of that yet. I don't think so. And for this one, we're gonna go with this because it seems like it says here. This feels like the most important of all the thoughts, the one you truly must complete. So we're gonna do that. And get that one, and then we'll get a point in. Let's finish off authority. There we go. Yep. Okay. And hey, Kim.
Yes?
No? Okay. Well, that's what we're going to end this episode, I think. Next episode, we'll probably go to bed pretty soon. See if Kim wants to have a little talk at night again, like we did last night. Maybe we'll go try take on Measurehead again, because I think we did increase our physical instrument a couple levels ago. So we should be able to try that again. And then in the morning, tomorrow, we're going to be trying to go to the fishing village across the water bridge thing that should be repaired on Wednesday. So until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you later.